When you look into the mirror, sometimes you see more doubts than dreams. You hear that little voice inside whispering, "You are not enough, you can't do this, you don't have what it takes." And because that voice is yours, you start believing it. You see, the greatest battles we fight are not with the world outside, but with the world inside of us. And in that battle, the weapon you need most is self-belief. Until you choose to believe in yourself, no applause from others, no recognition, no encouragement will ever be enough. I remember a time when I felt completely defeated, when life pushed me so hard that I thought I would never stand again. I looked around and saw nothing but walls, and I looked within and saw nothing but fear. It was then that I realized something. Nobody was coming to rescue me. People could give me advice. They could hold my hand for a while. They could cheer me on, but they could not live my life for me. The choice to rise was mine. The choice to say, "I can." When everything around me screamed, "You can't," had to come from me. And that moment of realization is where self-belief begins. Believing in yourself does not mean you will never be afraid. It does not mean you will never doubt. It simply means you will not let fear or doubt be the final decision maker of your life. When you believe in yourself, you give yourself permission to try, to stumble, and to rise again. And that belief becomes your quiet strength. It is the fire within that does not let you quit when everyone expects you to. There will always be people who underestimate you. Some will say you are too young, too old, too weak, too ordinary. And sometimes those voices will sound convincing because they echo the insecurities you already carry. But when you choose to believe in yourself, their words lose their power. You stop measuring your worth through their eyes, and you begin to see that the only approval you truly need is your own. That shift changes everything. Suddenly, the mountain does not look taller, the road does not look longer, because you carry with you the conviction that somehow, some way, you will make it. Self-belief is not arrogance. It is not about thinking you are better than others. It is about knowing that you are capable of becoming better than the version of yourself who doubted yesterday. It is about respecting your journey, your scars, your resilience. It is about saying to yourself, "Yes, I have flaws, I have fears, I have failures, but I also have dreams, I have strength, and I have the right to try again." There will be nights when you cry yourself to sleep, mornings when you want to give up, and days when nothing seems to move in your favor. On those days, self-belief is the hand that lifts you up. It is the whisper that says, "Just one more step. Just hold on a little longer." And with each step you take in faith, you begin to see a new version of yourself emerging. Stronger, braver, unstoppable. The truth is, you will never know your strength until you choose to believe in it. You will never know how far you can go until you decide to take that first uncertain step. And once you do, doubt begins to fade and determination takes its place. Believing in yourself is the foundation of every victory you will ever have. It is the beginning of every transformation. It is the first yes you must say before the world ever says it to you. Failure. It is a word that most of us fear. A word that we try to avoid. A word that sometimes feels like the end of the road. But let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Failure is not the end. It is only a bend in the journey. It does not stop you. It shapes you. It does not destroy you. It teaches you. Every setback, every rejection, every time you fall flat on your face is an invitation to learn who you really are and what you are truly capable of. I used to think that failure meant weakness. I used to think that when I stumbled, the world would laugh, and I would never find the courage to stand again. But life has a way of teaching us differently. There came a time when I had no choice but to face the truth that failure was not against me, it was for me. It was there to strip away my illusions, to test my patience, and to prepare me for something greater. And when I began to see failure as a teacher instead of a punishment, my entire perspective changed. When you fail, it hurts. It breaks your heart. It shatters your confidence. You question yourself, why me? Why now? Why can't I just get it right? In those moments of pain, it feels impossible to believe that failure could ever have a purpose. But once the dust settles, once you gather yourself back, you start to see the hidden lessons it leaves behind. Failure teaches humility. It teaches resilience. It teaches patience. It makes you stronger in ways that success never could. Think about it. If everything in life came easily, if you succeeded at every attempt, would you ever grow? Would you ever push beyond your comfort zone? Of course not. It is failure that forces us to dig deeper, to work harder, to reinvent ourselves. It is failure that tells us there is another way, a better way, but you won't see it until you try again. Many people stop after failure. They take it as a sign that they are not good enough, and they quit. But quitting is the real failure. Falling is natural, but refusing to rise is a choice. The truth is, every great story of success that you admire has chapters of failure written in bold. Behind every achievement you see is a trail of mistakes, disappointments, and setbacks that no one talks about. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of failure. It is the refusal to give up after it. So the next time you fail, do not be ashamed. Do not hide it. Embrace it. Let it teach you. Ask yourself, what is this moment trying to show me? What can I learn from this pain? How can this shape me into a stronger version of myself? When you see failure as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block, it loses its power to paralyze you. There was a time when I failed so badly that I thought my story had ended. But looking back now, I realized that failure was simply the beginning of a new chapter. It redirected me, it refined me, and it reminded me that my worth was not defined by a single moment, but by the courage to rise after it. So, whenever you encounter failure, remember this: it is not the enemy, it is the guide. It is not the end, it is the preparation. Each time you fall, you are one step closer to finding the strength within you that doubt tried to bury. And with every lesson you carry forward, you turn your failures into fuel for determination. Pain is something none of us choose, yet all of us encounter. It comes in many forms: loss, betrayal, disappointment, broken dreams, or even the silence of loneliness. And when it arrives, it shakes the ground beneath us. It makes us question everything: our strength, our purpose, our very existence. But the truth is, pain is not here to paralyze us. It is here to awaken us. It is a force that can either break us into pieces or build us into something unshakable. The difference lies in how we choose to respond. There was a time in my life when pain felt like an endless shadow. Every day seemed heavier than the one before, and I carried wounds that no one could see. I asked myself, why me? Why does life have to be this cruel? And for a while, I drowned in that ocean of questions. But slowly, I realized something profound: pain was not my enemy. It was my turning point. It was the place where I could decide whether I would surrender to despair or rise with new strength. When you are in pain, you discover your deepest truths. You realize that you are stronger than you thought, braver than you imagined, and more resilient than you ever believed. Pain strips away the unnecessary layers and shows you what truly matters. It takes you to the core of who you are, where determination is born. Pain has a way of pushing you toward growth. Think about it. When life is comfortable, we rarely change. We stay in the same routines, the same safe places, the same habits. But pain shakes us out of that comfort. It forces us to find new paths, new meanings, and new versions of ourselves. It whispers, there is more inside you than you know. Don't let this moment define you. Let it refine you. Yes, pain can break you, but it can also become your greatest source of power. The scars you carry are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you survived. They are reminders that you walked through fire and emerged still standing. And once you realize that your scars tell a story of resilience, you no longer hide them. You wear them as badges of honor. Turning pain into power does not mean pretending that everything is fine. It does not mean ignoring the hurt or forcing a smile when your heart is heavy. It means allowing yourself to feel, to cry, to grieve, and then choosing to rise anyway. It means using your struggles as fuel to move forward instead of chains to hold you back. I have seen how pain can awaken compassion. When you suffer, you begin to understand the suffering of others. You no longer see people only from the surface. You connect with their struggles, their hidden battles, their silent tears. That connection, born out of pain, becomes a source of purpose. It gives you the strength to not only heal yourself, but also to help heal others. Your greatest power will often come from your deepest wound. The very thing you thought would destroy, you can become the reason you inspire others to never give up. Pain is not there to end your story. It is there to transform your story. It is the bridge that takes you from weakness to strength, from fear to courage, from doubt to determination. So when you face pain, don't run from it. Embrace it, learn from it, and let it fuel your journey. Because one day, when you look back, you will realize that the very moments that hurt you the most were the same moments that shaped you into who you were always meant to be. Doubt is that quiet voice that never seems to rest. It sits in the corner of your mind, whispering, "What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if everyone laughs at you?" And the dangerous part about doubt is that it doesn't shout. It whispers, gently, consistently, until you begin to mistake it for the truth. We all carry it. We all feel it. But the difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck is simple at some point. They choose not to let doubt decide their destiny. I remember facing moments when doubt felt louder than my dreams. It convinced me that I wasn't capable, that others were smarter, stronger, better, and that I had no place trying. For a long time, I listened. I let doubt become my jailer, keeping me from stepping into the unknown. But life has a way of pushing you to places where you either give in or break free. And I realized that doubt will always exist. But so will courage. The question is, which one will you feed? Breaking free from doubt doesn't mean you will never question yourself again. It doesn't mean you will wake up every day overflowing with confidence. No. It means you will stop letting doubt dictate the decisions of your life. It means you will hear that voice saying, "You can't," and still move forward whispering, "But I will try." It means recognizing that courage is not the absence of doubt. It is moving forward despite it. You see, doubt thrives in silence. It grows when you sit still, when you hesitate. When you keep replaying all the reasons why you shouldn't take the step. The only way to weaken it is through action. The moment you try, the moment you dare to move, doubt begins to lose its grip. Even if you fail, you prove to yourself that doubt was wrong. You can survive failure, and you can stand again. Sometimes doubt is not even your own voice. It comes from the people around you. The ones who say you are dreaming too big, who remind you of your past mistakes, who question your worth. And because those voices are familiar, you begin to believe them. But the truth is, other people's doubt is only a reflection of their own fears. It does not define you unless you let it. You do not have to carry the weight of their insecurities. You only have to believe in the possibility of your own growth. There will be nights when you lie awake thinking of all the reasons you might fail. But ask yourself this: what if I succeed? What if this risk is the very step that changes everything? What if I am more capable than I have ever given myself credit for? The moment you allow yourself to ask those questions, determination begins to rise within you. Doubt will always knock on your door, but you are not required to let it in. You can choose to open the door instead to faith, to courage, to persistence. You can choose to remind yourself that even though you do not have all the answers, you have the strength to take the next step. And often, that next step is enough to silence doubt. So whenever doubt tries to chain you, remember this: it is only as strong as the power you give it. Break free by daring to move, daring to try, daring to believe in possibilities larger than your fears. Because once you break free from doubt, you make space for determination. And with determination, even the impossible begins to look possible. Success is a word we hear from the moment we begin to dream, but too often it comes wrapped in definitions that do not belong to us. We are told that success is about wealth, titles, applause, and recognition. We are made to believe that it is measured by how others see us, not how we see ourselves. And because of that, we spend years chasing someone else's version of success, only to end up feeling empty when we finally reach it. But true success is not about comparison. It is about becoming the best version of who you are meant to be. There was a time when I thought success meant pleasing everyone around me. I thought if I achieved what others expected, then I would finally feel fulfilled. But no matter how hard I tried, no matter how much I achieved, there was always another standard, another goalpost moved further away. That is when I realized that success, defined by others, is a race you can never win. Because when you live by their definition, you are always performing, never truly living. Success is not about having everything. It is about finding meaning in what you have. It is about waking up with peace in your heart, knowing that you are living your truth. It is about discovering your purpose, however small or grand it may be, and walking in it with courage. For some, success might mean leading a company. For others, it might mean raising a family with love, or using their talents to bring light to someone else's life. No version is superior because real success is deeply personal. When you begin to redefine success on your own terms, you free yourself from the pressure of constant comparison. You stop measuring your journey against someone else's timeline. You stop questioning your worth just because your path looks different. You understand that success is not about reaching the same destination as everyone else. It is about traveling the road that belongs uniquely to you. Often, people mistake success for perfection. They think they have to eliminate all flaws, hide all failures, and present only the polished version of themselves. But success is not perfection. It is progress. It is falling and getting back up. It is making mistakes and choosing to learn from them. It is daring to keep moving forward, even when the road is uncertain. And here's the beautiful truth: success is not a moment, it is a journey. It is not a single achievement that defines you forever, but the everyday choices you make to keep growing. Success is in the resilience you show when life tests you. It is in the kindness you extend when no one is watching. It is in the determination that keeps you moving when doubt tries to hold you back. One day, when you look back at your life, you will realize that success was never in the trophies or the applause. It was in the quiet victories, the times you stood again after falling, the times you believed in yourself when no one else did, the times you kept hope alive when everything around you felt dark. Those are the moments that shape a successful life. So, don't let the world tell you what success should look like. Don't measure your worth by someone else's standards. Define success in a way that aligns with your values, your dreams, your heart. And once you do, you will find that success is not something far away. It is already within you, growing with every step you take from doubt to determination. When you rise from your struggles, something powerful happens. You don't just change your own life, you become a source of light for others. Your story your scars, your resilience become proof that it is possible to walk through fire and still come out stronger. And that in itself is one of the greatest gifts we can give the world, the courage of our own example. For a long time, I thought my journey was only mine to carry. I thought my pain, my failures, my lessons were too heavy or too personal to be shared. But life showed me that when you share your story, you don't just heal yourself. You help heal someone else who may be silently fighting the same battles. You may never know who is watching you, but your determination can be the reason someone else doesn't give up. Sometimes we think we need to be extraordinary, famous, or perfect to inspire others. But the truth is, inspiration lives in the simplest of actions. When you stand back up after falling, you show others that they can too. When you smile through pain, you remind someone that hope is still possible. When you keep moving despite doubt and fear, you whisper to the world, you can do it as well. You see, we live in a world where people are constantly searching for hope. They look for stories that remind them they are not alone. And your journey, no matter how ordinary you may think it is, carries that power. You don't have to preach or perform. You only have to live authentically, to keep choosing courage over fear, to keep choosing determination over doubt. That choice becomes your message. There will be days when you feel too small to make a difference. But remember this, even a single candle can break the darkness of an entire room. Your journey may be that candle for someone else. You may never know whose heart you touched, whose mind you changed, whose life you saved, simply by refusing to give up on your own. Inspiring others does not mean living without struggles. It means showing them that struggles are not the end. It means proving through your life that challenges can be transformed into opportunities, pain into power, doubt into determination. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with honesty, with vulnerability, with the courage to keep going despite imperfections. And here is the beauty. The more you inspire others, the more you inspire yourself. The more you see that your story matters, the more determined you become to keep writing it with courage. Inspiration is a cycle. When you give it, it comes back to you multiplied. So never underestimate the value of your journey. The failures you overcame, the doubts you silenced, the pain you transformed, and the success you redefined. All of it becomes a beacon for someone still walking through their storm. They may look at you and think, if they can rise, maybe I can too. And in that moment, your journey becomes bigger than yourself. It becomes hope. As you continue forward, remember this. Determination is not just for you. It is for everyone who sees you and gathers strength from your courage. Live your journey boldly, for in doing so, you give permission for others to rise. And when one person rises, they lift others with them. That is how doubt turns into determination. Not only in you, but in the hearts of all who witness your story.